We're constantly bombarded with information, notifications, and distractions. As we journey through life from hearing our own often taught that helping others is a key part of being solitude, a crucial for emotional strength and kind. They give us the space to reflect, process emotions, personal relationships, and develop a deeper understanding of ourselves. We're encouraged to lend a hand when someone is in need. Allows you to step away from the chaos. But there's a critical clarity that many overlook. It creates a buffer zone others should where you can recharge your own well-being. Prepare for future challenges between supporting someone in a meaningful, healthy way and becoming trapped in a cycle of toxicity that harms emotional resilience. Helping certain types of people doesn't just lead to frustration. Often regarded as the father of existentialism, drain your energy, believe that solitude was essential for self-reflection and understanding one's true self. The ancient Stoics, philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, emphasized living in accordance with nature, cultivating inner peace, and exercising wisdom in all our relationships. Helping As we journey through life, we're often taught that helping others is a key part of being virtuous, compassionate, and kind. Whether it's through cultural expectations, personal relationships, or social norms, we're encouraged to lend a hand when someone is in need. But there's a critical truth that many overlook. Helping others should not come at the cost of your own well-being. There's a fine line between supporting someone in a meaningful, healthy way and becoming trapped in a cycle of toxicity that harms you both. Helping certain types of people doesn't just lead to frustration. It can erode your mental health, drain your energy, and pull you away from the virtues that Stoic philosophy holds dear. The ancient Stoics, philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, emphasized living in accordance with nature, cultivating inner peace, and exercising wisdom in all our relationships. Helping toxic people is not only futile, but also contradictory to these teachings. The Stoics believed that our responsibility is to ourselves first, to protect our tranquility, live with integrity, and avoid being swayed by destructive forces. In this guide, we'll explore 9 types of toxic people you should never help, why it's important to distance yourself from them, and how Stoic principles can guide you in navigating these relationships. Whether you're dealing with a manipulative friend, a narcissistic coworker, or a chronic complainer in your family, the wisdom of the Stoics can help you maintain your peace while still acting with compassion and integrity. Now, if you are new here, please like the video and subscribe. Statistics show that only 15% of my audience is subscribed to the channel. So if this content has helped you in any way, I ask you to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Before diving into the specific types of toxic individuals, let's take a moment to understand how Stoicism views relationships and the boundaries we should set. Stoicism is grounded in the idea that our happiness and inner peace come from within. We can't control external circumstances, whether it's the behavior of others, misfortune, or the opinions of society, but we can control our reactions and how we engage with the world. When dealing with toxic people, Stoicism doesn't encourage passivity or avoidance of responsibility. It teaches discernment. Helping someone should come from a place of virtue, not obligation or fear of how others might perceive us. Toxic individuals drain our emotional resources, disrupt our peace of mind, and violate the Stoic principle of self-mastery. As Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Helping toxic people doesn't make you a better person. It simply traps you in their dysfunction. Tantu. The emotional manipulator, 2,500 words. The emotional manipulator is skilled at exploiting the feelings of others to get what they want. They twist situations, play the victim, and use guilt or fear to control those around them. These manipulators often come across as helpless, always needing your assistance, sympathy, or emotional support. However, beneath the surface, they are experts at steering the narrative to keep you in their orbit of dependency. They thrive on making you feel responsible for their happiness, sadness, or the problems they encounter. Take the example of a friend who consistently creates situations where you feel obligated to help, even when you have your own problems to handle. They might say, "If you were a true friend, you'd be here for me right now." Or, "I just don't know what I'd do without you. No one else understands me." The emotional manipulator never outright demands help, but makes you feel guilty for not offering it. Stoicism teaches us that we must cultivate self-discipline and not allow others to control our emotions. The Stoics emphasize the importance of emotional resilience, and emotional manipulators challenge this principle by forcing us into emotional entanglement. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Emotional manipulators thrive when we forget this truth, when we allow their external drama to cloud our judgment and inner calm. The emotional manipulator's behavior is the opposite of Stoic rationality. Stoicism encourages self-control and the ability to navigate life's challenges with serenity. In contrast, emotional manipulators seek to destabilize those around them, creating a world of anxiety, dependency, and guilt. For the Stoic, helping such individuals is not a virtuous act, but rather a distraction from one's own pursuit of tranquility and wisdom. Helping an emotional manipulator is like trying to fill a bucket that has a hole in the bottom. It's never enough. No matter how much emotional support you provide, it will never fill the void they have created within themselves. By continuously offering help, you reinforce their belief that they cannot solve their own problems, leading to a cycle of dependency where they rely on you for validation, emotional stability, and decision-making. From a Stoic standpoint, this type of help is damaging not only to them, but also to you. Helping them pulls you away from your own growth, peace of mind, and virtuous living. Stoicism teaches us to take responsibility for ourselves and our emotions, not for the emotions of others. Each time you give in to their manipulations, you weaken your own emotional boundaries and strengthen their toxic behavior. Moreover, emotional manipulators are skilled at making you feel guilty for maintaining boundaries. But remember Epictetus's words, "No man is free who is not master of himself." You are responsible for your emotional well-being, and allowing someone else to dictate how you feel, think, or act is a form of emotional enslavement. The Stoic solution to dealing with emotional manipulators is rooted in emotional detachment and clear boundaries. First, recognize that their emotional state is not your responsibility. You can offer support, but only in ways that align with your principles and do not compromise your emotional balance. If they continually ask for more, gently but firmly reinforce your boundaries. For instance, if they guilt-trip you into staying late on the phone to listen to their problems, you can respond with empathy, but limit the interaction. "I understand you're going through a tough time, but I also need to take care of myself. I'm available for a conversation, but it can't be right now." This affirms their feelings without allowing them to control your time or emotional energy. Epictetus also said, "Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens." Focus on what you can control, your reactions, your emotional state, and how much time you're willing to offer. By maintaining this mindset, you avoid becoming entangled in the manipulator's emotional web. In more extreme cases, emotional manipulators may need to be removed from your life altogether. The Stoics understood that there is no virtue in sacrificing your inner peace for the sake of those who refuse to help themselves. Seneca once wrote, It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Helping someone who constantly manipulates you wastes your time and prevents you from living fully according to your values. Helping an emotional manipulator is like trying to carry someone who insists on walking with crutches, even though their legs are perfectly fine. They lean on you, creating a false narrative that they need your support to walk. But the truth is, they choose dependency because it's easier than taking responsibility for their own life. The Narcissist, 2,500 words. Narcissists are self-centered individuals who have an inflated sense of their own importance. They require constant admiration and attention, and often manipulate those around them to maintain their position at the center of everyone's universe. Narcissists lack empathy and are quick to diminish the value of others, especially when those people pose a threat to their sense of superiority. Narcissists view others as mere tools to serve their needs and ambitions. They are expert charmers, initially drawing people in with their charisma and confidence, but over time they reveal their true nature. Their relationships are one-sided, and they have little interest in the feelings or needs of others unless those needs align with their own desires. A classic example of narcissistic behavior is the boss who takes credit for a team's hard work, or a friend who only reaches out when they need something, never reciprocating the emotional or practical support they receive. Narcissists will always find ways to position themselves as the hero or the victim, and everyone else becomes a supporting actor in their personal drama. In contrast to the narcissist's obsession with external validation, Stoicism teaches the importance of humility and self-improvement. The Stoics believed that one's worth comes from within, not from the praise or recognition of others. Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Narcissists operate from the exact opposite perspective. They want more admiration, more attention, more validation, and their happiness depends entirely on these external sources. Helping a narcissist goes against Stoic principles because it reinforces their need for validation and feeds their unhealthy ego. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, wrote, "How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it?" This statement holds true for narcissists who, when faced with criticism or the withdrawal of attention, often lash out in anger or emotional manipulation to regain control. From a Stoic perspective, narcissists represent an extreme attachment to the external, constantly chasing the opinions of others and building their identity on shaky foundations. Helping them only perpetuates this destructive behavior, preventing them from developing the inner strength and self-awareness that Stoicism encourages. Helping a narcissist is like feeding a monster that never gets full. The more you give, the more they'll take, and they'll never show genuine gratitude. Narcissists are incapable of forming meaningful, balanced relationships because they see everyone as inferior. Your help will never be enough, and any attempt to support them will only lead to further manipulation. Narcissists are quick to discard those who no longer serve their needs. The moment you stop feeding their ego, they'll move on to someone else who will. This creates a toxic cycle where you're constantly trying to meet their impossible demands, sacrificing your own well-being in the process. From a Stoic perspective, this type of relationship is detrimental to your pursuit of virtue and tranquility. The Stoics believed that we should act with kindness and compassion, but never at the expense of our own inner peace. Helping a narcissist erodes your peace because it keeps you locked in a cycle of validation, fear, and frustration. Setting boundaries is crucial when dealing with narcissists. The Stoic approach to dealing with such individuals is to maintain your integrity without being drawn into their manipulative games. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. In other words, don't allow the narcissist's self-centeredness and manipulation to drag you down to their level. Instead of reacting emotionally or trying to appease them, stay grounded in your own values. Narcissists thrive on emotional reactions, so one of the most effective ways to disarm them is through calm detachment. When they try to manipulate you or demand more than you're willing to give, respond with rationality and composure. This might sound like, "I understand that you feel this way, but I'm not able to help with that right now." Stay firm in your boundaries and don't engage in their attempts to provoke or guilt you. Epictetus also said, "It is not things that disturb us, but our interpretation of their significance." Remember that a narcissist's demands, insults, or manipulation only have power over you if you allow them to. By viewing their behavior through a Stoic lens, you can detach emotionally and see their tactics for what they are: empty attempts to control others. If a narcissist refuses to respect your boundaries or continues to manipulate you, it may be time to remove them from your life entirely. Stoicism teaches that our time is limited, and wasting it on people who don't respect us or contribute positively to our well-being is a disservice to ourselves. As Seneca wisely said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." Narcissists will never improve your life, only deplete it. Helping a narcissist is like feeding a bottomless pit. No matter how much you give, it's never enough. They'll always demand more admiration, more attention, more of your time and energy, but they'll never reciprocate or acknowledge the value you bring to the relationship. Over time, this one-sided dynamic will leave you feeling exhausted, devalued, and resentful. The chronic complainer, 2,500 words. Chronic complainers are those individuals who always seem to find fault in every situation. No matter how good things are, they'll always find something to complain about. These people live in a state of perpetual dissatisfaction, and their negativity can be incredibly draining for those around them. A chronic complainer is often someone who fixates on what's wrong rather than what's right. They are the type who, after attending a wonderful event, will focus on the long line at the buffet or the minor inconvenience of parking. Nothing is ever good enough, and no solution is ever satisfactory. Instead of seeking ways to improve their situation, chronic complainers prefer to wallow in negativity, often dragging others down with them. An example of this might be a co-worker who constantly gripes about the boss, the workload, and the office environment, even when improvements have been made. No matter what positive changes occur, they remain entrenched in their complaints, creating a toxic atmosphere for those around them. Stoicism teaches us that we should focus on what is within our control and accept what is beyond it. Chronic complainers fail to live by this principle because they focus entirely on the things they cannot control, such as minor inconveniences or external circumstances. Instead of adopting a Stoic mindset of acceptance and resilience, they allow themselves to be consumed by negativity. Epictetus said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Chronic complainers live in a state of imagined suffering, where they magnify every small discomfort or challenge into something far greater than it actually is. Their constant focus on the negative prevents them from experiencing the joy and peace that come from accepting life's imperfections and focusing on what truly matters. Helping a chronic complainer goes against the Stoic principle of emotional resilience. Chronic complainers thrive on the attention they receive when they share their grievances. Instead of finding solutions, they seek validation for their complaints, and when you try to help them, they resist any efforts to change. Helping a chronic complainer is like trying to empty a leaking boat. No matter how many solutions you offer or how much support you provide, they'll always find something else to complain about. Their negativity is a bottomless pit, and any attempt to alleviate their complaints will only lead to more dissatisfaction. From a Stoic perspective, engaging with a chronic complainer undermines your own emotional balance. The Stoics believe that maintaining a calm and rational mind is essential for living a virtuous life. Chronic complainers, however, pull you into their world of negativity and pessimism, disrupting your peace of mind. Additionally, by constantly offering help to a chronic complainer, you reinforce their habit of complaining. Instead of encouraging them to focus on solutions or to accept what they cannot change, you enable their negativity, making it harder for them to break free from their toxic mindset. When dealing with a chronic complainer, it's important to empathize without absorbing their negativity. You can listen to their complaints, but you should avoid being drawn into their cycle of dissatisfaction. The Stoic approach to dealing with chronic complainers is to maintain emotional detachment and stay focused on your own inner tranquility. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Chronic complainers allow their thoughts to be dominated by negativity, but you don't have to follow them down that path. When they share their complaints, you can acknowledge their feelings without validating their pessimism. For example, if a chronic complainer at work is venting about a project, you might respond by saying, "I understand this is frustrating, but what can we do to make it better?" By shifting the conversation towards solutions, you encourage the chronic complainer to take a more proactive and positive approach. If they resist, that's a sign that they're not interested in finding solutions. They're more interested in complaining for the sake of complaining. At this point, it's important to recognize that your responsibility is not to fix their mindset, but to protect your own. Epictetus reminds us, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." Chronic complainers often believe that they are justified in their negativity, and no amount of logic or problem-solving will change that. In such cases, the best course of action is to limit your exposure to their complaints and focus on maintaining your own emotional balance. If the chronic complainer is a close friend or family member, it may be necessary to have a candid conversation about how their constant negativity is affecting you. You can approach this conversation with kindness but firmness, explaining that while you value the relationship, you need to set boundaries to protect your own well-being. For example, you might say, "I care about you, but it's difficult for me to constantly hear complaints without any solutions. Can we focus on finding ways to improve things instead of just focusing on what's wrong?" Helping a chronic complainer is like trying to clean a window that's constantly being dirtied by the rain. No matter how much effort you put into clearing the glass, the rain will keep coming, and the view will always be clouded by their negativity. Instead of wasting your energy, it's better to step back and let the storm pass. The user, 2,500 words. Users are individuals who only come around when they need something. They don't invest in relationships out of genuine care or connection. Instead, they exploit others for their own gain. Users see people as resources to be tapped into, whether it's for money, time, favors, or emotional support, and they rarely, if ever, offer anything in return. A classic example of a user is the friend who only calls when they need a favor, or the family member who shows up unexpectedly asking for help with something, only to disappear once they've gotten what they wanted. These people are not interested in reciprocal relationships. They're focused solely on what they can take from others, and once they've extracted what they need, they're gone until the next time they require assistance. The Stoics valued mutual respect and reciprocity in relationships. Seneca, in his letters, frequently emphasized the importance of maintaining relationships that are based on virtue, trust, and mutual benefit. Helping someone should not feel like an obligation or a transaction. It should be an act of virtue that benefits both parties. Users violate this principle by turning relationships into one-sided exchanges where they take without giving. From a Stoic perspective, helping a user is not a virtuous act because it reinforces their exploitative behavior and drains your own resources without contributing to your growth or well-being. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not act as if you had 10,000 years to throw away. Death stands at your elbow. Be good for something while you live, and it is in your power." In other words, your time and energy are precious, and they should not be wasted on people who only seek to use you for their own purposes. Helping users prevents you from investing your time and energy in more meaningful, virtuous pursuits. Helping a user is like pouring water into a sieve. No matter how much you give, it will never be enough to satisfy them. Users are not interested in building meaningful relationships or fostering genuine connections. Their focus is on what they can extract from you, and once they've gotten what they want, they move on without a second thought. From a Stoic perspective, this type of relationship is inherently unbalanced and unsustainable. Stoicism teaches us to act with virtue and to engage in relationships that are built on mutual respect and benefit. Helping a user not only drains your emotional, financial, or practical resources, but also prevents you from focusing on relationships that are genuinely fulfilling and reciprocal. Moreover, helping users reinforces their entitlement and encourages them to continue exploiting others. By giving in to their demands, you enable their behavior, making it harder for them to learn the value of self-sufficiency or to engage in relationships that are based on mutual respect. When dealing with users, it's important to set clear boundaries and limit how much time, energy, or resources you're willing to offer. The Stoic approach to handling users is to recognize that your help should not come at the expense of your own well-being or virtue. As Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." You have the right to control how and when you offer help, and you are under no obligation to assist someone who is only interested in taking advantage of you. For example, if a user friend constantly asks for favors without ever offering anything in return, you might respond by saying, "I've noticed that you often ask for help, but I don't feel like there's a balance in our relationship. I'm happy to help when it's mutual, but I can't continue to offer support without reciprocity." This sets a clear expectation that you value mutual respect and will not allow yourself to be used. If the user continues to ask for help without making any effort to reciprocate or change their behavior, it may be necessary to distance yourself from the relationship. Seneca said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." Users create anxiety and stress by constantly making demands on your time and resources. Removing them from your life can bring a sense of peace and allow you to focus on more meaningful relationships. Helping a user is like planting seeds in barren soil. No matter how much effort you put into nurturing the relationship, it will never bear fruit. Users are not interested in cultivating a garden of mutual support and care. They're only focused on taking what they can for themselves. The drama magnet, 2,500 words. Drama magnets are individuals who seem to thrive on chaos and conflict. They constantly create or attract drama, blowing minor issues out of proportion and stirring up unnecessary conflict wherever they go. These people live for the excitement of emotional upheaval and often drag others into their turbulent world, leaving everyone around them exhausted and stressed. A drama magnet might be the friend who is always involved in some kind of crisis, whether it's a relationship drama, a work dispute, or a family feud. They exaggerate the importance of every problem and expect others to drop everything to help them resolve their latest catastrophe. The truth, however, is that drama magnets are not interested in finding solutions. They're interested in maintaining the attention that comes with being at the center of the storm. The Stoics valued emotional stability and inner peace above all else. Stoicism teaches us to remain calm in the face of adversity and to avoid being swept up in external events that are beyond our control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Drama magnets represent the antithesis of this philosophy, as they are constantly pulled into external chaos and emotional upheaval. Helping a drama magnet goes against the Stoic principle of maintaining emotional resilience. Drama magnets thrive on the attention and emotional energy they receive from others during times of crisis. By engaging with their drama, you allow yourself to be dragged into their world of chaos, which disrupts your own sense of tranquility and balance. Helping a drama magnet is like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. No matter how much effort you put into resolving their problems, they'll always find a way to create more drama. Drama magnets are not interested in finding solutions or resolving conflicts. They're interested in the emotional energy and attention that drama brings. From a Stoic perspective, helping drama magnets pulls you away from your own path of virtue and wisdom. The Stoics believed in focusing on what truly matters, living a life of integrity, emotional balance, and rationality. Drama magnets, however, are constantly distracted by trivial conflicts and emotional outbursts, which prevents them from engaging with life in a meaningful or virtuous way. Additionally, helping drama magnets reinforces their belief that their problems are worth the attention and energy of others. By indulging their need for drama, you encourage them to continue creating conflict rather than finding peace or resolution. When dealing with a drama magnet, it's important to maintain emotional detachment and avoid getting swept up in their chaos. The Stoic approach to handling drama magnets is to stay focused on your own inner calm and to refuse to engage in their emotional turmoil. Epictetus said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This principle is key when dealing with drama magnets. You cannot control their behavior, but you can control how you respond. When a drama magnet tries to pull you into their latest crisis, respond with calm detachment and avoid getting emotionally involved. For example, if a drama magnet friend calls you in a panic about a minor issue, you might respond by saying, "I understand that this is upsetting for you, but I'm not able to get involved right now. I hope you can find a solution soon." By refusing to engage in their emotional outbursts, you protect your own peace of mind and discourage them from relying on you for attention during times of crisis. Over time, drama magnets will learn that you are not a source of emotional fuel for their chaotic behavior. In some cases, it may be necessary to distance yourself from a drama magnet altogether. If their constant need for attention and conflict is causing significant stress or disruption in your life, it may be time to cut ties and focus on relationships that are more balanced and supportive. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Drama magnets cloud your thoughts with their constant turmoil, preventing you from finding the peace and clarity that Stoicism encourages. Helping a drama magnet is like trying to calm a raging storm with a paper fan. No matter how much effort you put into bringing order to their chaos, the storm will continue to rage, and your attempts to help will be futile. Drama magnets live for the emotional energy that comes with conflict, and they'll continue creating drama as long as they have an audience. You have now reached the halfway mark of the video. I congratulate you for trying to become a better version of yourself. And I also humbly ask you to leave a comment, as it helps my channel immensely. If you do not know what to comment, just write "better" every day, so I know you reached this far. And don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Also, I've linked some books on Stoicism that helped me become the man I am today, and will also help you achieve a Stoic mindset. The victim, 2,500 words. Victims are individuals who never take responsibility for their own actions or circumstances. They constantly blame external factors, other people, bad luck, or unfair situations, for their problems, and they refuse to acknowledge their own role in the challenges they face. Victims live in a state of perpetual helplessness, and they expect others to fix their problems for them. A classic example of a victim is the co-worker who constantly complains about not being promoted, despite never taking initiative or improving their skills. Instead of recognizing their own role in their lack of progress, they blame the company, their boss, or their co-workers for holding them back. Victims often feel entitled to help and support from others, believing that their problems are not their fault and that someone else should fix them. Stoicism teaches radical accountability, taking responsibility for your own thoughts, actions, and circumstances. And the Stoics believed that while we cannot control everything that happens to us, we can always control how we respond to challenges. Victims, however, reject this principle by placing the blame for their problems on external forces and refusing to take ownership of their lives. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, the challenges we face in life are opportunities for growth and self-improvement. Victims, however, see challenges as obstacles that prevent them from living the life they want, and they expect others to remove these obstacles for them. Helping a victim goes against the Stoic principle of personal responsibility. By taking on their burdens and trying to fix their problems, you reinforce their belief that they are powerless and that others are responsible for their well-being. Helping a victim is like trying to carry someone who refuses to walk on their own. No matter how much support you offer, they'll continue to rely on others to solve their problems, and they'll never take responsibility for their own life. Victims drain your energy and time without making any effort to improve their situation, creating a one-sided dynamic where you're constantly giving and they're constantly taking. From a Stoic perspective, this type of relationship is unhealthy and unsustainable. Stoicism teaches that we should act with kindness and compassion, but never at the expense of our own well-being. Helping a victim erodes your peace because it keeps you locked in a cycle of dependency, where the victim relies on you for solutions and you feel obligated to provide them. Additionally, helping a victim prevents them from developing the resilience and self-reliance that are essential for living a virtuous life. By constantly rescuing them from their problems, you rob them of the opportunity to learn from their challenges and grow as individuals. When dealing with victims, it's important to encourage them to take responsibility for their own lives while maintaining your own emotional boundaries. The Stoic approach to handling victims is to offer support without enabling their dependency. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Victims need to learn that they are in control of their own lives, but this won't happen if you continue to solve their problems for them. Instead of jumping in to fix the victim's problems, offer guidance and encourage them to take action. For example, if a victim friend is constantly complaining about their job, you might say, "I understand that you're frustrated, but what can you do to improve the situation? Have you considered learning new skills or talking to your boss about your concerns?" By shifting the focus to their own actions, you empower them to take control of their life rather than relying on others to fix their problems. If the victim continues to refuse responsibility and relies on you to solve their problems, it may be necessary to set firmer boundaries. You can explain that while you're willing to offer advice, you're not able to take on the burden of fixing their life. As Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Helping a victim who refuses to help themselves is a waste of your time and energy. In some cases, victims may resist any effort to encourage self-reliance, preferring to remain in a state of helplessness. If this happens, it may be necessary to distance yourself from the relationship to protect your own well-being. Stoicism teaches that our time and energy should be spent on virtuous pursuits, and enabling a victim's dependency is neither virtuous nor productive. Helping a victim is like trying to push a boulder uphill, only for them to let it roll back down at every opportunity. No matter how much effort you put into helping them, they'll continue to rely on others for support and refuse to take responsibility for their own life. The envious, 2,500 words. Envious people are constantly comparing themselves to others and feeling resentful of anyone who seems more successful, happier, or better off than they are. Instead of focusing on their own path and achievements, envious individuals fixate on what others have, leading to feelings of inadequacy, jealousy, and bitterness. An example of an envious person is the co-worker who downplays your achievements or subtly tries to undermine your success. They may make backhanded compliments or criticize you in ways that highlight their own insecurities. Envious people often project their dissatisfaction onto others, creating tension in relationships and fostering a toxic environment of competition and resentment. Stoicism teaches that true happiness comes from within, not from external achievements or comparisons with others. The Stoics believed that envy is a destructive emotion that prevents personal growth and inner peace. Epictetus said, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." Envious people, however, do the opposite. They focus entirely on what they don't have, which fuels their resentment toward others. Helping an envious person goes against the Stoic principle of focusing on your own path and avoiding unnecessary comparisons. Envious people are trapped in a cycle of dissatisfaction because they measure their worth by external factors, such as wealth, status, or success, rather than cultivating inner contentment and self-acceptance. Helping an envious person is like trying to fill a void that can never be filled. No matter how much success or happiness they achieve, they'll always find someone else to compare themselves to, and their feelings of inadequacy will persist. Envious people are never satisfied because their sense of self-worth is tied to external validation, and helping them only reinforces their unhealthy obsession with comparison. From a Stoic perspective, envy is a toxic emotion that clouds one's ability to experience gratitude and peace. By helping envious people, you encourage their focus on external achievements rather than helping them cultivate inner contentment. This dynamic is harmful to both the envious person and yourself, as it creates an environment of competition and resentment rather than mutual support and growth. Additionally, envious people often project their insecurities onto others, leading to tension and conflict in relationships. Helping them can lead to feelings of guilt or inadequacy, as they subtly undermine your success or try to bring you down to their level. When dealing with envious people, it's important to maintain emotional boundaries and avoid engaging in their comparisons or insecurities. The Stoic approach to handling envy is to focus on gratitude and self-acceptance, rather than getting caught up in the envious person's negative mindset. Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." This principle is key when dealing with envious people. Instead of trying to help them achieve more external success or validation, encourage them to focus on what they already have and to cultivate gratitude for their own accomplishments. For example, if an envious friend constantly compares themselves to others, you might respond by saying, "I understand that you feel this way, but have you thought about focusing on your own strengths and achievements? Comparing yourself to others will only bring you more frustration." By shifting the conversation towards self-acceptance and gratitude, you help the envious person move away from their destructive comparisons and focus on their own path. If the envious person continues to project their insecurities onto you or undermines your success, it may be necessary to distance yourself from the relationship. Stoicism teaches that we should associate with people who elevate our thoughts and actions, not those who bring us down with negativity and resentment. As Seneca said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." Helping an envious person is like trying to climb a ladder with someone constantly pulling you down. No matter how high you go, they'll always try to bring you back to their level because they're not focused on their own progress. They're obsessed with yours. The liar, 2,500 words. Liars are individuals who deceive others to manipulate situations, protect themselves, or gain an advantage. They create webs of lies that eventually entangle everyone around them, leading to confusion, mistrust, and emotional harm. Liars often justify their dishonesty by claiming that they're protecting others or avoiding conflict, but in reality, their lies serve to protect themselves or manipulate those around them. An example of a liar is a co-worker who takes credit for someone else's work, or a friend who lies about their whereabouts to avoid confrontation. Liars create an environment of distrust, where it's impossible to know whether they're being honest or manipulating the truth to suit their own agenda. Stoicism teaches that truth is a core value in any virtuous life. The Stoics believed that honesty and integrity are essential for maintaining genuine relationships and living in accordance with nature. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Liars, however, violate this principle by distorting reality and creating confusion. Helping a liar goes against the Stoic principle of integrity. By enabling their dishonesty or overlooking their lies, you contribute to an environment of deception and mistrust, which ultimately undermines your own emotional well-being and moral integrity. Helping a liar is like building a house on a foundation of sand. No matter how much effort you put into supporting them, their dishonesty will eventually cause everything to collapse. Liars create an environment of mistrust, where you can never be sure of their true intentions or whether they're manipulating you for their own gain. From a Stoic perspective, helping liars compromises your own integrity. Stoicism teaches that we should act with honesty and virtue, and enabling a liar's deceit goes against these values. Additionally, helping liars often means becoming complicit in their lies, which not only damages your own reputation, but also prevents the liar from facing the consequences of their actions. Furthermore, helping a liar often leads to emotional harm, as their dishonesty creates confusion and mistrust in relationships. Over time, you may find yourself questioning their every word and wondering whether you can truly trust them, which disrupts your own peace of mind and emotional stability. When dealing with liars, it's important to maintain your own integrity and refuse to engage in their deceit. The Stoic approach to handling liars is to practice honesty in all interactions and to distance yourself from individuals who repeatedly lie or manipulate the truth. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "The best revenge is to be unlike your enemy." In other words, don't allow the liar's dishonesty to drag you down to their level. Instead, stay committed to your own principles of truth and integrity, even when dealing with someone who lacks these values. For example, if a friend repeatedly lies to you about small things, you might say, "I value honesty in my relationships, and it's important to me that we can trust each other. If you're not willing to be truthful, I'm not sure this friendship can continue." By setting this boundary, you make it clear that honesty is a non-negotiable value in your relationships. If the liar continues to deceive you or refuses to take responsibility for their dishonesty, it may be necessary to end the relationship. Stoicism teaches that we should associate with people who share our values and contribute to our personal growth. As Seneca said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." Liars do the opposite. They undermine your emotional stability and create an environment of mistrust. Helping a liar is like trying to navigate a maze where the walls are constantly shifting. No matter how hard you try to find your way, their lies will continue to confuse and mislead you, making it impossible to build a relationship based on trust and honesty. The Control Freak, 2,500 words. Control freaks are individuals who need to dominate every situation and expect everyone around them to conform to their expectations. They manipulate, micromanage, and impose their will on others, leaving little room for autonomy or individuality. Control freaks often justify their behavior by claiming that they're simply trying to help or that they know what's best. But in reality, their need for control stems from their own insecurities and fear of uncertainty. An example of a control freak is the boss who insists on overseeing every minor detail of a project, or the friend who constantly tries to dictate how you should live your life. Control freaks have a deep-seated need to feel in control of their environment and the people around them, and they often use manipulation or guilt to maintain their dominance. Stoicism teaches that the only thing we can truly control is our own mind and actions. Control freaks, however, operate from the belief that they can and should control the actions and behaviors of others. This need for control goes against the Stoic principle of accepting what is beyond our control and focusing on self-mastery. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." Control freaks violate this principle by constantly trying to manipulate and dominate the people around them. Helping them only reinforces their unhealthy obsession with control and prevents them from developing the emotional resilience that Stoicism encourages. Helping a control freak is like trying to navigate a ship with someone constantly grabbing the wheel. No matter how capable you are, they'll never trust you to do things your way. Control freaks undermine your autonomy and well-being by imposing their will on you, creating a dynamic where you feel trapped and powerless. From a Stoic perspective, helping control freaks pulls you away from your own path of self-mastery and emotional freedom. Stoicism teaches that we should focus on what we can control, our own thoughts, actions, and reactions, and let go of the need to control others. Helping a control freak only reinforces their belief that they have the right to dominate others, which undermines your own autonomy and emotional well-being. Additionally, helping a control freak often means sacrificing your own needs and desires to accommodate theirs. This creates a one-sided dynamic where your individuality is suppressed in favor of their need for control. When dealing with control freaks, it's important to set firm boundaries and refuse to allow them to control your actions or decisions. The Stoic approach to handling control freaks is to maintain your autonomy and focus on your own self-mastery, rather than trying to appease their need for dominance. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Control freaks undermine your freedom by constantly trying to dictate how you should think, act, or live. To protect your freedom, you must assert your boundaries and refuse to allow them to control you. For example, if a control freak friend insists on telling you how to handle your personal life, you might say, "I appreciate your concern, but I need to make my own decisions about this. I'll ask for advice if I need it." This response sets a clear boundary while maintaining your autonomy. If the control freak continues to push their agenda or refuses to respect your boundaries, it may be necessary to distance yourself from the relationship. Stoicism teaches that our time and energy should be spent on relationships that foster mutual respect and growth, not on those that stifle our individuality and autonomy. Helping a control freak is like trying to walk a tightrope with someone constantly pulling on the rope. No matter how well you balance, their need for control will keep throwing you off course. Conclusion: applying Stoic wisdom to your life. Throughout this guide, we've explored 9 types of toxic people you should never help. Whether it's the emotional manipulator, the narcissist, or the chronic complainer, these individuals disrupt your peace of mind, drain your energy, and pull you away from your higher purpose. Stoicism provides the tools to navigate these toxic relationships by teaching us to maintain emotional detachment, set boundaries, and focus on what truly matters. At the core of Stoic philosophy is the belief that we are responsible for our own lives, thoughts, and actions. Toxic people try to pull us into their chaos, but we must remain grounded in our values and protect our inner peace. By recognizing when helping becomes harmful, we can maintain our emotional well-being and live according to Stoic virtues. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Don't let toxic people poison your mind with their negativity, manipulation, or control. Instead, live virtuously, maintain your peace, and focus on helping those who truly deserve it. Remember, the most important person you can help is yourself. By practicing Stoic wisdom, you'll cultivate resilience, emotional clarity, and a life of true fulfillment. Now, if any part of this message has been helpful to you, leave us your like and comment, helping the algorithm recommend it to someone who needs it at this time. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss new videos. And if you look through the videos we've already uploaded, you're sure to find something to take with you. Have a good day. When people, especially those we value deeply, begin to distance themselves, it often stirs a mixture of confusion, rejection, and self-doubt. The experience can leave us in an emotional whirlwind, causing us to question not only the dynamics of our relationships, but also our self-worth. This feeling is universally relatable. At one point or another, nearly everyone has faced the discomfort of feeling sidelined or unappreciated. Yet, what if we could view this experience differently? Instead of interpreting distancing as a rejection or failure, we could see it as an opportunity for reflection, growth, and realignment with our core values. Drawing from Stoic philosophy, an approach focused on inner resilience and wisdom, we can gain the tools to navigate these situations with clarity and peace. Stoic teachings offer a way to not only accept the reality of such events, but also embrace them as opportunities for deeper understanding. Amor fati, or love of fate, is a cornerstone of Stoicism, encouraging us to accept every event as part of life's natural course. When someone distances themselves, amor fati asks us not only to accept this reality, but to see it as a meaningful part of our path, shaping us and our perspective. In accepting that this distance is beyond our control, we release the grip of resistance, which often intensifies our emotional suffering. Instead, we center ourselves on what we can control, our own thoughts, responses, and actions, allowing us to navigate these experiences with a sense of inner strength and calm, even when our surroundings are uncertain. Now, if you are new here, please like the video and subscribe. Statistics show that only 15% of my audience is subscribed to the channel, so if this content has helped you in any way, I ask you to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Another powerful approach in dealing with relational distancing is to develop an understanding of why people may choose to pull away. Human relationships are inherently complex, shaped by a multitude of factors that may have little to do with us personally. Sometimes people distance themselves due to their own needs, struggles, or circumstances, which might not align with ours at that moment. They may feel overwhelmed by personal challenges, need solitude to process certain emotions, or simply require space to rediscover themselves independently. This isn't a reflection of our worth, but an expression of their internal world, shaped by individual experiences and emotions that we may not fully understand. Stoic philosophy, particularly the teachings of Epictetus, encourages us to avoid snap judgments about others' actions and intentions. When we view someone's distance through a lens of curiosity and empathy rather than judgment, we cultivate a non-reactive approach that focuses on understanding rather than assigning blame. This shift in perspective enables us to respect the other person's autonomy, creating emotional space for both parties to exist authentically. Such an understanding doesn't minimize the importance of the relationship. Instead, it respects the natural ebb and flow of human connection, acknowledging that boundaries are often expressions of self-care. Embracing this concept allows us to step back from negative assumptions and view the distance as a meaningful, if challenging, part of the relational journey, helping us to process emotions in a way that doesn't harm our peace of mind. While understanding others' motivations is crucial, introspection and self-reflection are equally valuable. Stoicism places high regard on self-reflection, not as an act of blame, but as a pathway to personal clarity and growth. It's natural to seek comfort and connection in relationships, yet sometimes our own needs, fears, or expectations may contribute to unintended strain. The practice of prosauche, or self-vigilance in Stoicism, invites us to observe our behaviors and reactions without self-criticism, but with compassionate honesty. Perhaps we've leaned too heavily on this person for validation or fulfillment, creating an emotional reliance that may feel suffocating to them. Or, conversely, we may have overlooked certain aspects of the relationship, leading the other person to seek distance to regain balance. In reflecting on our actions, we aim not to blame ourselves, but to increase awareness of our own patterns and their potential impact on others. A checklist of potential behaviors like clinginess, overdependence, or even neglect can serve as gentle reminders of areas we might address. By developing this self-awareness, we become more attuned to both our needs and the needs of those around us. In doing so, we cultivate healthier, more balanced relationships that support our well-being without creating dependency, fostering an atmosphere where connections are built on mutual respect and understanding rather than on emotional need. Emotional resilience is another invaluable tool when facing the challenges of distancing. The Stoics believed that distress is not caused by external events, but by our interpretations and reactions to them. When we internalize this concept, we realize that we have a profound ability to shape our emotional landscape regardless of others' actions. This resilience is captured in the Stoic concept of apatheia, or inner tranquility, which refers to a state of emotional stability that is not swayed by the unpredictable nature of external circumstances. Apatheia does not mean emotional suppression or detachment. Rather, it's a cultivated state of mind that allows us to respond to life's ups and downs without becoming overwhelmed. In this context, emotional resilience helps us navigate the pain of distancing without letting feelings of loneliness or sadness overtake us. It's an invitation to practice control over our responses by understanding that our sense of peace is determined by our choices, not by others' actions. Techniques like mindful breathing, visualization, and grounding exercises are powerful tools for practicing this resilience. They help us stay centered and emotionally regulated, particularly in moments when feelings of rejection or insecurity may arise. This resilience serves as a buffer, giving us the strength to endure change with poise, recognizing that our emotional well-being lies in our hands, independent of any single relationship. Cultivating independence and self-sufficiency is yet another empowering approach within Stoicism. While connection is a vital part of human life, depending too heavily on others for emotional stability can lead to feelings of vulnerability and insecurity. Instead, Stoic philosophy encourages us to build a secure and fulfilling relationship with ourselves, one that does not rely solely on the presence or approval of others. Independence in this context is not about isolation. Rather, it's about developing a deep inner confidence that allows us to remain whole and balanced, regardless of others' actions. By setting personal goals, nurturing passions, and engaging in activities that bring joy, we reinforce our sense of self-worth. This independence fosters resilience, creating a foundation from which we can approach relationships from a place of genuine appreciation rather than need. Engaging in activities like learning new skills, pursuing hobbies, or dedicating time to self-care strengthens this self-sufficiency, enabling us to feel content within ourselves. This sense of independence doesn't distance us from others, but enriches our relationships, allowing us to offer support without expecting others to fulfill needs that we are already meeting for ourselves. Detachment from external outcomes is a critical principle in Stoicism, and it's particularly applicable when dealing with changes in relationships. Often, we pour significant emotional energy into securing a particular outcome in our relationships, whether it's seeking validation, closeness, or understanding from another person. But when we become attached to these outcomes, we set ourselves up for disappointment, as we cannot control the actions, thoughts, or feelings of others. Stoic teachings emphasize the importance of focusing on what we can control, our intentions, actions, and mindset, while releasing attachment to the results. Marcus Aurelius, a prominent Stoic philosopher, often wrote about the futility of worrying over external events that fall outside our control, reminding us to center ourselves in our internal world. This approach aligns with the Buddhist concept of non-attachment, which also teaches that clinging to specific outcomes often leads to suffering. When we release this attachment, we free ourselves from the anxiety that comes from needing situations to unfold in a particular way. Instead, we learn to appreciate each relationship as it is, without imposing expectations. This shift in focus, from external validation to internal growth, transforms our mindset, allowing us to experience a sense of peace, confident that our well-being does not hinge on any external factor, but resides in our own hands. Stoic practices for cultivating inner peace offer practical, everyday exercises that help us anchor ourselves in tranquility regardless of the events around us. The Stoics valued regular reflection as a means of maintaining emotional clarity and calm. Taking time each morning to prepare for the day and each evening to review our actions and thoughts allows us to process our emotions and reactions in a constructive way. This daily reflection serves as a mental reset, helping us to manage stress and prevent emotional buildup when dealing with relational uncertainty. Alongside Stoic reflection, Meditation and mindfulness are transformative practices for calming the mind and creating a space of peace within ourselves. Buddhist meditation techniques, as well as Zen practices of non-attachment, reinforce this state of inner stability, enabling us to let go of the chaotic thoughts that often intensify stress and sadness. Spending moments in nature, listening to calming music, or journaling can further support this practice, creating a peaceful mental environment untouched by external shifts. Inner peace isn't a fixed state we reach once. It's an ongoing commitment to returning to ourselves, maintaining a balanced mind, and nurturing a stable heart. With these practices, we create an inner sanctuary, a space where we can return anytime, free from the impact of others' actions, ensuring that we meet life's challenges with composure. With inner peace as a foundation, personal growth and self-improvement become natural extensions of this journey. Stoic philosophy highlights the value of continuous self-betterment, emphasizing that the best way to honor ourselves and others is through committed growth. Instead of focusing on the distance in a relationship, we can channel this time and energy into developing our skills, knowledge, and self-confidence. The Stoics believed that growth wasn't merely a pursuit of personal goals, but a responsibility to live with integrity and purpose. By focusing on self-improvement, we cultivate a well-rounded life filled with meaningful pursuits, reducing our dependence on external factors for happiness. Whether it's investing in physical health, exploring creative passions, or expanding intellectual horizons, these efforts enrich our lives, making us more resilient and self-sufficient. Personal growth is not only fulfilling, but also attracts others to us naturally, as the energy of self-confidence and independence often draws like-minded individuals into our lives. As we engage in this journey of self-improvement, we become more grounded and at ease with who we are, allowing relationships to complement our lives rather than define our worth. By building ourselves up, we prepare for a life where relationships are valued and appreciated, but never the sole source of our fulfillment. Here's the continuation of the text, representing the second third of the content. This segment builds on the initial themes and introduces new Stoic and philosophical insights, guiding viewers through deeper reflection and strategies for managing relational distance with resilience and inner balance. Forgiveness and letting go are essential components when dealing with relational distancing. The process of forgiving someone who has distanced themselves, even if the hurt is subtle, liberates us from the emotional weight that often accompanies such experiences. Stoic philosophy teaches that harboring resentment or holding on to past hurts only deepens our suffering and limits our peace of mind. Seneca, one of the prominent Stoic philosophers, emphasized that forgiveness is ultimately a gift to ourselves. It frees us from the grip of negative emotions and allows us to focus our mental energy on more constructive aspects of life. Forgiveness in this context doesn't imply excusing or forgetting any behavior that may have been hurtful. Rather, it's about releasing our emotional attachment to those events and choosing peace over resentment. In addition to Stoic wisdom, Buddhist teachings on compassion reinforce the idea that forgiveness is an act of kindness toward ourselves. Buddhism advocates for the concept of compassion that begins with oneself. When we forgive, we don't erase the past, but release the control it holds over our present. One effective exercise for cultivating forgiveness is writing an unsent letter to the person who has distanced themselves. This letter serves as a private space to express any unresolved feelings, confusion, or even disappointment. By allowing these emotions to flow freely on paper, we begin the process of releasing them from our minds. Forgiveness, especially when it isn't followed by reconciliation, may feel incomplete, yet it empowers us to let go of lingering negativity. Through this act of self-compassion, we reclaim control over our emotional state, setting the stage for inner calm and clarity. Equally essential to dealing with distancing is respecting the boundaries and needs of others. Often, when someone withdraws, it's easy to interpret their actions as rejection or personal offense. However, Stoic philosophy reminds us that each individual has their own inner world and motivations. Epictetus advised that we should not impose our expectations onto others, but allow people the freedom to navigate their own paths. Sometimes, people seek distance as a way to set boundaries, reassess their priorities, or protect their mental well-being. This act of distancing isn't necessarily a reflection of our worth or a rejection of our bond. Rather, it may be a necessary measure of self-care. When we respect another's boundaries, we are showing emotional maturity and demonstrating that we value their autonomy. Healthy relationships require a balanced respect for personal boundaries, allowing each person to feel secure enough to express their needs without fear of guilt or misunderstanding. Boundaries are expressions of self-care, and honoring them can help us maintain a positive connection, even if it is temporarily redefined. One practical approach to respecting boundaries is to practice non-judgmental communication. Instead of questioning or seeking immediate answers, we can express a willingness to give space and an openness to reconnect when the time feels right. This open, non-intrusive approach communicates that we care without pressuring the other person. By respecting boundaries, we build a foundation of trust and patience, reminding ourselves that relationships are fluid and that space can sometimes bring clarity and strength. An effective way to transform the experience of someone distancing themselves is to reframe it as an opportunity for personal growth. Stoicism emphasizes that every challenge, especially those that test our patience and resilience, is a chance to develop inner virtues. Marcus Aurelius famously observed that obstacles are not impediments, but opportunities to practice virtue. When faced with the challenge of distance, we can ask ourselves what this experience has to teach us. Instead of focusing on what we may be losing, we can shift our perspective to what we might gain in self-awareness, emotional maturity, or independence. This process of reframing doesn't deny the discomfort that comes with change. It simply redirects our focus from loss to growth. Reframing is a mindset shift that enables us to find value even in adversity. In Zen Buddhism, there is a similar teaching that encourages seeing each life experience as part of a broader journey toward awareness. Whether it's a positive or painful experience, every interaction and every moment offers a lesson. Approaching distancing with curiosity rather than resistance allows us to deepen our understanding and cultivate resilience. Consider a reflective exercise where you write down 3 ways this experience has helped you grow. Perhaps it's taught you patience, highlighted areas for personal development, or clarified what you truly value in relationships. By focusing on these aspects, you begin to see distancing as a stepping stone rather than an obstacle, which makes room for self-discovery and emotional growth. While reframing is helpful, it's equally vital to maintain social connections and avoid isolation. Stoic philosophy values independence and self-sufficiency, but it doesn't negate the importance of companionship and community. Aristotle referred to humans as social animals, asserting that connection with others is essential for a fulfilling life. When someone pulls away, we may feel a void, but it's crucial to remember that we can nurture other relationships to maintain emotional balance and avoid loneliness. These connections, whether they are with friends, family, or community members, provide support, encouragement, and a sense of belonging that can ease the discomfort of losing a particular relationship. Building and maintaining a range of social connections aligns with Stoic ideas about balance. By developing relationships that bring joy and companionship, we avoid the emotional vulnerability that can come from relying solely on one person. Social connections act as a buffer against isolation, offering warmth and companionship that reinforce our sense of worth. By diversifying our network, we ensure that our lives remain rich with human interaction, even when one relationship is uncertain. To actively build these connections, consider reaching out to friends, joining interest groups, or volunteering. Engaging in community-based activities allows us to bond with others in meaningful ways, offering a sense of purpose and connection that complements our independence. You have now reached the halfway mark of the video. I congratulate you for trying to become a better version of yourself, and I also humbly ask you to leave a comment, as it helps my channel immensely. If you do not know what to comment, just write "better" every day, so I know you reached this far. And don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Also, I've linked some books on Stoicism that helped me become the man I am today, and will also help you achieve a Stoic mindset. In addition to social connections, maintaining a mindset of gratitude and recognizing life's impermanence are transformative practices when dealing with distancing. Gratitude, according to Stoicism, helps us refocus our attention on what we have rather than what we lack. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself to appreciate the good in life, regardless of external circumstances. Practicing gratitude helps us anchor ourselves in the present, reducing the tendency to dwell on feelings of loss or lack. In times of relational change, gratitude allows us to shift our focus to the positive aspects of our lives, appreciating the connections, experiences, and simple joys that persist regardless of others' actions. Gratitude can be cultivated through daily reflections, such as noting 3 things each day that bring a sense of fulfillment. This might include a supportive conversation with a friend, the enjoyment of a favorite meal, or the beauty of nature. Gratitude redirects our mind from focusing on what is absent to what is abundant, reinforcing our emotional resilience and making us less vulnerable to feelings of loneliness or rejection. Furthermore, the Buddhist concept of impermanence complements gratitude by reminding us that all things, including relationships, are temporary. Embracing impermanence helps us avoid becoming overly attached to the way things are, encouraging us to appreciate each relationship for what it is in the present. This perspective doesn't eliminate the pain of loss, but it softens it, allowing us to flow with life's natural rhythms rather than resisting them. Cultivating purpose and self-compassion are 2 additional practices that significantly enhance our ability to navigate relational changes. A sense of purpose gives us direction and grounding, helping us feel fulfilled independently of others' actions. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, observed that people who have a clear purpose can endure nearly any circumstance, as purpose provides meaning that transcends situational challenges. In the context of relationships, having a purpose beyond personal connections helps us maintain a sense of self-worth and direction. Whether it's through meaningful work, creative pursuits, or contributing to a cause we believe in, purpose fills our lives with a sense of accomplishment that doesn't rely on others' validation. In practice, this might mean dedicating time to a hobby, volunteering, or pursuing personal goals that bring satisfaction and pride. Purpose-oriented activities build a fulfilling life that remains stable and enriching regardless of shifts in our relationships, creating a secure foundation for our self-esteem and happiness. Equally crucial is the practice of self-compassion, which is particularly beneficial in moments of relational uncertainty. Self-compassion involves treating ourselves with the same kindness and patience we would offer a friend. It's easy to become self-critical, especially when facing the emotional ambiguity of someone distancing themselves. Here's the final third of the content, concluding the discussion on the 13 principles with a deepening focus on self-compassion, non-attachment, and emotional resilience, and reinforcing a holistic approach for managing relational changes through Stoic and other philosophical teachings. Practicing self-compassion is a vital component when someone we care about begins to distance themselves. Often, in the face of relational uncertainty, we may feel a rush of self-doubt or even self-blame. These emotions can lead us to question our adequacy, as we wonder if we could have prevented the distancing. But self-compassion reminds us to treat ourselves with the same patience, kindness, and understanding that we would offer a friend in a similar situation. Stoic philosophy advocates for acceptance of our human nature, including our imperfections, and it encourages us to be gentle with ourselves as we navigate these challenges. This act of self-kindness frees us from the harsh inner dialogue that can exacerbate feelings of sadness or rejection. By replacing self-criticism with self-compassion, we create a supportive inner environment, one that offers solace and resilience. In Buddhist teachings, compassion begins within. Without cultivating empathy and forgiveness toward ourselves, it becomes difficult to offer these qualities to others. Self-compassion encourages us to acknowledge our emotions without judgment, viewing our responses as natural and valid. When we feel hurt or confused by someone's distancing, acknowledging these feelings without self-reproach is a healing act. Practicing self-compassion might involve mindfulness exercises such as self-compassion meditations, where we focus on directing understanding and warmth toward ourselves. Alternatively, we can shift our self-talk to be more supportive. For example, if we find ourselves thinking, "I'm not good enough," or "I must have done something wrong," we can reframe these thoughts into more compassionate statements like, "I am doing my best and I deserve kindness." Through this approach, self-compassion becomes a habit that strengthens our ability to cope with relational changes gracefully. Fostering non-attachment is another powerful practice for maintaining peace in the face of distancing. Non-attachment, as taught in both Stoic and Buddhist philosophies, doesn't imply a lack of care, but rather a freedom from needing things to remain as they are. In relationships, we often cling to a particular outcome, hoping for a deepening connection or a return to how things used to be. But when we attach ourselves too tightly to these desires, we set ourselves up for disappointment if things shift. Stoic philosophy encourages us to focus on what we can control, our actions and perspectives, and release our grip on outcomes beyond our influence. This acceptance reduces our tendency to feel frustrated or hurt when others act independently of our expectations. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the importance of viewing each moment with equanimity, without becoming emotionally entangled in desires or fears. By adopting this mindset, we can enjoy relationships for what they are, rather than clinging to what we wish them to be. This doesn't diminish our appreciation for others. Rather, it allows us to cherish them more fully in the present moment without the weight of future expectations. Buddhist teachings on impermanence also reinforce this idea. Recognizing that all things, including relationships, are fluid and subject to change, helps us approach each connection with an open heart and an understanding that things may evolve over time. Non-attachment, then, is not a form of indifference. It's an enlightened way of relating to others that emphasizes freedom, respect, and appreciation over possession or control. Maintaining emotional resilience is another critical aspect of dealing with relational distance. Building resilience equips us to handle change without letting it destabilize our inner peace. In Stoicism, emotional resilience stems from an understanding that our well-being is rooted within us and not dependent on external events or people. When someone distances themselves, it's natural to feel destabilized. However, with resilience, we learn to view change as part of life's natural cycle, something that doesn't detract from our inherent worth. The Stoic practice of premeditatio malorum, preparing for adversity, encourages us to anticipate challenges as part of life and to mentally prepare for them. By imagining potential outcomes and envisioning how we would respond, we build resilience, knowing we can maintain our calm and values regardless of circumstances. This resilience doesn't mean that we stop caring about others. Rather, it reinforces our ability to experience emotions without being overtaken by them. When a relationship shifts, resilience helps us balance the natural sadness or disappointment with an underlying sense of stability. Practical exercises, like mindful breathing or visualizing positive affirmations, support resilience by reminding us of our inner strength. Practicing resilience also makes us less likely to react impulsively to others' actions. Instead, we cultivate a calm presence that is both strong and flexible, enabling us to face relational changes with grace. Alongside resilience, focusing on self-growth and continuous improvement provides an empowering alternative to dwelling on relational uncertainty. Stoic philosophy advocates for lifelong learning and self-improvement, emphasizing that growth is not only beneficial but essential to our well-being. When we channel our energy toward personal development, we create a sense of fulfillment that is self-sustaining. Whether it's pursuing a new skill, advancing in our career, or developing a creative talent, personal growth provides a positive outlet that enriches our lives. It gives us something meaningful to focus on, reducing any overdependence on external relationships for our sense of happiness or purpose. Self-improvement does not mean striving to impress others or seeking validation. It is a commitment to ourselves. This dedication to growth transforms moments of uncertainty into opportunities for enhancement, showing us that our sense of worth is independent of external circumstances. Practical steps for self-improvement might include setting personal goals, working on physical wellness, or exploring new areas of knowledge. Through these pursuits, we create a life filled with achievements that bring inner satisfaction, and we become naturally more attractive to others through our confidence and independence. This self-growth journey builds a resilient identity, one that sees relationships as additions to our lives rather than sources of validation. Maintaining healthy social connections is also essential to ensure that we don't fall into isolation. Stoicism values independence, but it recognizes the importance of meaningful relationships. When someone distances themselves, we can counter the potential loneliness by nurturing connections with friends, family, and community. Aristotle viewed friendships as an integral part of a fulfilling life, stressing that human beings are inherently social and thrive on meaningful connections. By cultivating friendships and investing in our social network, we create a balanced life where we feel emotionally supported, even when one relationship changes. These social connections offer us different perspectives, companionship, and moments of shared joy, helping to ground us in our sense of belonging. To nurture these connections, consider taking small steps like reaching out to a friend for a coffee, joining a group aligned with your interests, or participating in volunteer activities. These actions not only expand our support network, but also remind us that relationships are varied and dynamic. By cultivating a network of supportive connections, we become less likely to over-focus on one relationship, fostering emotional resilience and reinforcing the idea that our social needs can be met through a range of meaningful bonds. As we continue to build emotional resilience and nurture social connections, cultivating gratitude becomes an essential practice that shifts our perspective toward appreciation and abundance. Gratitude, as promoted in Stoic philosophy, redirects our focus from what we lack to what we have, fostering a mindset that emphasizes contentment. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the small blessings of daily life, using gratitude as a tool to ground himself in the present moment. When we practice gratitude, we engage in a powerful shift from longing to fulfillment, helping us to find joy in the connections, experiences, and moments that surround us, even in times of relational change. A simple yet powerful way to cultivate gratitude is through journaling. Each day, jotting down 3 things we're grateful for can anchor us in the present, reminding us of the richness in our lives. We might appreciate a supportive friend, a moment of peace, or the beauty of nature. Gratitude helps us avoid tunnel vision, keeping us focused on the positive elements of our lives rather than fixating on what may be missing. Combined with the Buddhist principle of impermanence, gratitude becomes a profound practice, encouraging us to appreciate each experience as fleeting yet valuable. Recognizing impermanence invites us to embrace each relationship and moment without clinging to it, knowing that change is inevitable but that every connection contributes to our journey. Together, gratitude and impermanence transform our mindset, helping us find joy in the present and accept the flow of life without resistance. Finally, bringing all these practices together allows us to approach relationships with a sense of wholeness, wisdom, and empowerment. The Stoic, Buddhist, and philosophical insights explored here provide a holistic framework for managing relational changes with grace and resilience. When we accept reality, respect boundaries, nurture independence, and prioritize inner peace, we cultivate a balanced and emotionally fulfilling life. These practices allow us to meet life's inevitable changes with a steady heart, rooted in the understanding that our self-worth is intrinsic, not dependent on others' actions or validation. Relational distance doesn't diminish our value. It reveals an opportunity for self-discovery and personal growth. By aligning our lives with these principles, we develop a sense of completeness that isn't shaken by external events. Relationships become enriching additions to our lives rather than sources of need. Ultimately, when we embody these practices, we approach others from a place of confidence, understanding, and respect, cultivating connections that are mutual, free, and genuine. This journey isn't about controlling relationships or avoiding distance. It's about building a life filled with resilience, joy, and purpose that sustains us regardless of others' actions. The best relationships are born from a place of mutual respect, individuality, and freedom, and through these practices, we are empowered to nurture such bonds. In embracing these principles, we not only manage relational changes with wisdom, but also create a life that is resilient, joyful, and rich in self-discovery, allowing us to thrive through every phase of connection and growth. Now, if any part of this message has been helpful to you, leave us your like and comment, helping the algorithm recommend it to someone who needs it at this time. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss new videos. And if you look through the videos we've already uploaded, you're sure to find something to take with you. Have a good day. Evil, no matter how much we try to define or understand it, remains an elusive concept. It often appears as an abstraction, a term whispered in darkened rooms or hinted at in the hidden recesses of our minds. Yet, as vague as it may seem, our recognition of evil often surpasses our ability to define it. We may not be able to perfectly articulate its boundaries, but its presence, chilling, unbidden, leaves us unsettled. In the realms of Stoic philosophy, where understanding human nature and maintaining inner calm are paramount, grappling with the idea of evil requires not only perception, but resilience. The Stoics teach us to face everything, trials, losses, and yes, even the malevolent, with a composed mind and an unshaken spirit. But Stoicism also recognizes the danger of malevolent forces and individuals, reminding us that, though evil may wear a benign mask, it will eventually reveal itself. It is here that our journey begins, to look deeper, beyond superficial kindness or gestures of goodwill, into the core nature of those around us. And when we encounter true malice, the clarity of recognition often surpasses any spoken warning. We sense it in the barely concealed disdain, in the deliberate deceptions that grow more intricate over time. Stoicism reminds us that recognizing these traits is the first step in understanding and ultimately confronting them. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, make sure to like the video and hit that subscribe button. Only 15% of my audience is currently subscribed, so if these insights resonate with you, I'd love for you to join our community and turn on the notification bell to stay updated. And exciting news, our channel now offers a 24/7 live stream, streaming Stoic wisdom and insights around the clock. Plus, by joining our members club, you'll unlock exclusive benefits, deeper content dives, and personal insights. Join us on this journey, and let's build a meaningful life together. The nature of evil. Our minds, while prone to occasional errors in judgment, are remarkably attuned to perceived danger. This attunement is a survival mechanism, a quiet whisper in our consciousness that alerts us to the presence of harm. We may overlook small, subtle signs, but evil, in its truest form, cannot hide indefinitely. It seeps through the cracks, revealing itself in glances, in seemingly inconsequential actions, or in the unsettling energy that some people carry. Consider a man who moves through the world with cruel intentions hidden beneath a polished exterior. He might not announce his nature openly. In fact, he likely takes great care to appear upstanding. But watch him closely, and eventually the truth emerges. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Those whose intentions are dark and cruel, despite any outward appearances, eventually show their true colors. This perception is not limited to those we see as strangers or outsiders. On the contrary, true malevolence can emerge in the most familiar and trusted places. The teacher we admired, the close friend who offered support, or even a family member, all may harbor intentions that do not align with the goodwill they project. And while it is disheartening to consider, Stoicism encourages us to confront this reality with clear-eyed understanding. Imagine the trusted mentor who, over time, subtly instills self-doubt and uses veiled criticisms to erode your confidence. Or consider the co-worker who compliments your work to your face, only to undermine you in private conversations. The danger lies not just in their actions, but in the discord they create between appearance and reality. This, the Stoics would say, is the hallmark of true malevolence, a disconnect between intention and outward display, one that is designed to disarm and ultimately control. Sign 1. Masked empathy. One of the most striking traits of those who conceal their true nature is their ability to feign empathy. It is not enough for them to merely blend in. They seek to endear themselves to others, to elicit trust and admiration. But unlike true empathy, which is selfless and genuine, this empathy is a mask, a tool of manipulation wielded to maintain control over others. Imagine someone who, in times of crisis, offers seemingly unconditional support, showing up when others are absent and offering a comforting shoulder. Their kindness feels like a balm, their words a soothing antidote to your pain. But over time, subtle inconsistencies emerge. This person's support, while plentiful in public, fades when you most need it. their advice beginning to feel like thinly veiled criticism rather than encouragement. In Stoic philosophy, a wise person learns to see through such illusions. They recognize that true empathy doesn't waver based on convenience. A person of genuine character does not withdraw when your need surpasses their desire for praise. But a person who hides behind a mask of empathy will falter when the weight of their own pretense becomes too heavy to bear. The realization may come slowly, creeping into your awareness like the dawn. You may start to notice that this person's kindness seems performative, their interest in your struggles fading when they are no longer in the spotlight. This recognition, painful as it may be, is liberating. It allows you to break free from their influence and see their true intentions more clearly. Sign 2. Subtle isolation. Another hallmark of manipulative individuals is their tendency to subtly isolate those they intend to control. Unlike overt acts of jealousy or possessiveness, which are easier to recognize, this isolation is quiet, almost imperceptible at first. But as the Stoics remind us, even the faintest whisper of unease should not be ignored. Over time, it becomes a persistent murmur, signaling that something is amiss. Imagine having a friend who, under the guise of concern, encourages you to distance yourself from others. They might suggest, gently at first, that certain people don't have your best interests at heart. They plant seeds of doubt about your relationships, making you question the motives of those around you. Eventually, without realizing it, you find yourself withdrawing, relying more and more on the person who claims to be your only true friend. The Stoic approach to such manipulation is rooted in mindfulness. Stoicism teaches us that self-awareness is our best defense against those who seek to control us. By examining our feelings and actions with honesty, we can recognize when our boundaries are being encroached upon. True friends, after all, encourage us to expand our connections, to thrive in the company of others. Those who seek to isolate us often have ulterior motives, intentions cloaked in the language of care and concern. The realization may be painful, a betrayal of trust that leaves a deep wound. But as Stoics, we are encouraged to accept this knowledge with a calm heart, to let go of the anger and resentment that might otherwise linger. Understanding the intentions behind their actions allows us to break free, to reclaim our agency and rebuild the relationships that were quietly eroded. Sign 3. Charms and contradictions. The third sign of concealed malice lies in the charm that such individuals often exude, a charisma that draws others to them almost effortlessly. Unlike genuine charm, however, this allure is interwoven with subtle contradictions, small, seemingly insignificant inconsistencies that eventually reveal their duplicity. To a Stoic, these contradictions are like cracks in a mask, revealing glimpses of the true nature beneath. Consider a colleague who is quick to praise your achievements, their compliments genuine in tone, but somehow lacking sincerity. They may speak highly of your talents, only to make slight critical remarks later that cast doubt on your abilities. Or imagine a family member who appears to support your dreams, only to plant seeds of doubt whenever you express ambition. These contradictions are deliberate, designed to undermine your confidence without revealing their intent. Stoic wisdom teaches us to observe without judgment, to see these contradictions for what they are, without letting anger cloud our perception. Marcus Aurelius once advised that we should look beneath the surface, that we might understand what lies within. By applying this principle to our relationships, we can detect the insincerity of those who seek to undermine us through charm. These charms and contradictions can be disorienting, casting a fog over our judgment and making us question our intuition. But when we adopt a Stoic perspective, we become less susceptible to their influence. By focusing on our own values and principles, we are less likely to be swayed by the superficial allure of those who would manipulate us. This inner clarity becomes our shield, a barrier against the toxic influence of those who wield charm as a weapon. Sign 4. Inconsistencies in words. Words, as Stoics know, are powerful. They can build bridges, heal wounds, and inspire change. But in the hands of the manipulative, words become tools of deception, crafted to suit their immediate needs rather than any genuine belief. Those who seek to deceive are masters of inconsistency, their stories shifting to evade responsibility or to create confusion. Picture someone who makes promises only to break them, offering excuses that seem plausible, but over time reveal a pattern of dishonesty. Their words, once filled with assurances, begin to ring hollow, their promises little more than fragile facades. And yet, despite the growing dissonance, they continue to speak with conviction, relying on the confusion they create to avoid accountability. The Stoic approach to such inconsistency is rooted in discernment. Stoics believe that by observing with patience and clarity, we can separate truth from deceit. When someone's words and actions repeatedly fail to align, this inconsistency becomes a warning sign, a signal that they may not have our best interests at heart. Sign 5. A pattern of reversed blame. One of the most telling signs of manipulation and hidden malice is the tendency to reverse blame. Those who have been unmasked or whose intentions have been questioned often try to deflect responsibility by suggesting that the problem lies not with them, but with you. This tactic is subtle yet highly effective, turning the tables and leaving you questioning your own perceptions. Imagine a friend who, after being called out on a hurtful action, accuses you of overreacting or misunderstanding their intentions. They might say, "I didn't mean it that way," or "You're just being too sensitive." This deflection places you in a defensive position, forcing you to explain your feelings and, in the process, diminishing your own sense of validity. In Stoicism, self-awareness and accountability are paramount. Stoic philosophers teach that we must look inward to understand our own reactions, ensuring that they are rooted in reason and clarity. This self-reflection becomes especially important when dealing with individuals who attempt to reverse blame. By grounding ourselves in our own truth, we can resist the manipulation and remain steadfast in our understanding. Over time, as you continue to hold firm against this tactic, the truth of their character becomes undeniable. The reversal of blame no longer confuses you, but rather serves as confirmation of their intentions. In remaining calm and centered, you gain the clarity to see through their deflections and maintain your sense of self. Sign 6. Feigned ignorance. When faced with the possibility of being exposed, manipulative individuals often resort to feigned ignorance, acting as though they have no idea what harm their actions have caused. This tactic is particularly insidious, as it not only denies the reality of their behavior, but also casts doubt on your perception of events. Consider a scenario in which a colleague repeatedly undermines your work, only to act surprised or hurt when confronted. They might say, "I had no idea you felt that way," or "I never meant to make you feel unappreciated." This pretense of innocence is designed to make you question your own feelings, to make you second-guess the validity of your experience. To a Stoic, however, such manipulation is transparent. Stoic philosophy teaches us that true character is revealed not in words, but in actions. As Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. In observing their feigned ignorance, we come to understand that this act is a tactic, a method of avoiding accountability. By maintaining a calm and centered response, we refuse to be drawn into their game. We recognize that their ignorance is not genuine but rather a carefully crafted illusion, one that crumbles under the weight of truth. In choosing to respond with dignity, we uphold our integrity and refuse to let their deception shake our resolve. Sign 7. Withdrawal and silence. When manipulative individuals realize that their actions have been recognized, they often retreat into silence, hoping that time will erode your resolve. This withdrawal is not an act of remorse, but a calculated decision to avoid confrontation, to distance themselves until you are less likely to seek accountability. Imagine someone who, after a series of hurtful actions, suddenly stops communicating. They may cease returning calls, responding to messages, or appearing in shared spaces. This silence is a form of control, a method of keeping you in suspense, leaving you wondering if perhaps you were wrong to confront them. Stoic wisdom reminds us that silence can be powerful, but only when it serves the purpose of reflection and growth. When someone withdraws to avoid responsibility, however, their silence speaks volumes. It is an evasion, a refusal to acknowledge the truth that has been brought to light. In facing such withdrawal, a Stoic remains grounded. We learn to find peace within ourselves, understanding that the other person's silence is not a reflection of our worth or our perceptions. By releasing any need for validation or explanation, we free ourselves from their influence and embrace the serenity that Stoic philosophy offers. Sign 8. Reappearance with a revised narrative. In some cases, the manipulative individual will eventually return, but not with an apology or an acknowledgement of wrongdoing. Instead, they come back with a revised narrative, a story that recasts them in a sympathetic light. This new version of events is designed to make you question your previous judgments, to sway you with a carefully crafted tale of hardship or misunderstanding. Picture a friend who disappears after a conflict, only to return weeks later with a story that paints them as the victim of circumstances. They might claim that they were going through a difficult time, that their actions were misinterpreted, or that they were unfairly judged. This revised narrative is a powerful tool of manipulation, a way to rewrite history in a manner that absolves them of responsibility. The Stoic response to such reappearances is one of detachment and discernment. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." By keeping our thoughts clear and unbiased, we can see through their revised narrative and recognize it for what it is, an attempt to regain control. In acknowledging the truth of our own experiences, we remain steadfast, refusing to be swayed by their attempts at rewriting the past. This clarity of thought becomes our armor, protecting us from their influence and allowing us to continue on our own path with peace and integrity. Sign 9. Attempts to reconcile through guilt. Once a manipulative individual senses that they have lost their influence, they may resort to guilt as a means of reconciliation. They might reach out with messages or gestures that suggest regret, but their words are laden with implications meant to make you feel responsible for the rift. Rather than accepting accountability, they seek to draw you back through emotional coercion. Imagine someone who, after a period of silence, sends a message saying, "I miss you, but I understand if you don't want to talk." This phrasing is carefully chosen, designed to instill guilt while avoiding direct responsibility. It places the burden of reconciliation on you, subtly implying that the estrangement is your choice, not a consequence of their behavior. Stoicism teaches us that guilt, like all emotions, is something we have the power to examine and control. By understanding the nature of this tactic, we can choose not to internalize the guilt they attempt to impose. Instead, we acknowledge our right to establish boundaries and maintain them, understanding that true reconciliation can only occur when both parties approach with honesty and humility. By refusing to succumb to their guilt-laden appeals, we reinforce our commitment to self-respect and personal integrity. We recognize that our well-being is not contingent on their approval, and we move forward with clarity and purpose. Sign 10. Disguised acts of kindness. One of the most subtle and insidious tactics of manipulative individuals is the use of disguised kindness. After a period of conflict, they may attempt to win back your favor through small acts of generosity, gifts, favors, or gestures of concern. But these actions, though seemingly kind, are not rooted in genuine goodwill. They are designed to re-establish a bond, to create a sense of obligation that keeps you within their sphere of influence. Consider a co-worker who, after a dispute, begins to offer unsolicited help on your projects, or a friend who suddenly showers you with gifts after a disagreement. These acts may seem thoughtful, but they often carry an unspoken expectation of reciprocity, a subtle reminder of their presence in your life. In Stoic philosophy, true kindness is selfless, an expression of virtue that expects nothing in return. When we encounter disguised kindness, we are reminded to look beyond the surface, to question the intentions that lie beneath. By remaining mindful, we can accept their gestures without feeling compelled to reciprocate, understanding that true generosity does not come with strings attached. This awareness allows us to maintain our autonomy, to accept kindness without obligation, and to refuse the subtle manipulation that often accompanies such gestures. You have now reached the halfway mark of the video. I congratulate you for trying to become a better version of yourself, and I also humbly ask you to leave a comment, as it helps my channel immensely. If you do not know what to comment, just write "better every day" so I know you reached this far. And don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Also, I've linked some books on Stoicism that helped me become the man I am today, and will also help you achieve a Stoic mindset. The power of Stoic detachment. At this stage, we have explored several signs of manipulation and malice, each one revealing a facet of the hidden intentions that can linger behind a friendly smile or a comforting gesture. But Stoicism offers us more than just the ability to recognize these signs. It provides us with a framework for responding to them without losing our sense of self. Detachment, a central tenet of Stoic philosophy, is not about emotional indifference, but rather the cultivation of a balanced perspective. It is the understanding that our worth is not defined by the actions or opinions of others, but by our own commitment to virtue and wisdom. In recognizing the signs of manipulation, we do not allow ourselves to become entangled in the emotions they provoke. Instead, we observe them, judge them, and choose our response with clarity and calm. Building resilience through inner strength. As we continue to confront the reality of malevolent intentions, we find strength not in external validation, but in our own inner resources. Stoicism encourages us to develop resilience, to cultivate a mindset that remains unshaken even in the face of deceit. This resilience is built on the foundation of self-respect, self-knowledge, and a commitment to truth. Each encounter with manipulation becomes an opportunity to deepen our understanding, to sharpen our discernment, and to reinforce our commitment to integrity. By recognizing these tactics and choosing not to engage, we protect our mental and emotional well-being, allowing ourselves to live with peace and purpose. Embracing the Stoic path. In the end, the journey of recognizing and confronting hidden malice is one that requires courage, patience, and self-compassion. It is a journey that challenges us to look beyond appearances, to trust our intuition, and to stand firm in the face of deception. The Stoic path is not an easy one, but it is a path of empowerment, a way of living that honors the truth of our experiences and the strength of our spirit. As we move forward, let us carry with us the wisdom of the Stoics, the resilience of those who have faced adversity with grace, and the knowledge that we possess the inner resources to overcome any challenge. Through clarity, courage, and compassion, we can navigate the complexities of human relationships, remaining true to ourselves and to the values that guide us. Sign 11. Isolation tactics. As manipulative individuals sense that they are losing their grip, they often attempt to isolate you from your support network. This can take many forms. They might subtly undermine your relationships with family or friends, or they may find ways to dissuade you from seeking outside perspectives. Isolation is a powerful tool as it leaves you vulnerable and dependent, reducing your capacity to resist their influence. Imagine a situation where someone criticizes your friends or family, suggesting they don't understand you or are holding you back. Over time, they erode your trust in those closest to you, creating a world in which they are your only confidant. This tactic is deeply harmful, as it severs you from the very support system that could offer you clarity and strength. Stoicism, however, teaches the importance of community and shared wisdom. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that we are all part of a greater whole, interconnected and bound by mutual respect and support. When we recognize the isolation tactics of others, we must resist the urge to withdraw and instead seek connection with those who genuinely care for us. By holding fast to our relationships, we cultivate resilience, drawing strength from the love and support of others. In doing so, we break free from the isolating influence of manipulative individuals, embracing the community that sustains us. Sign 12. The illusion of change. One of the final tactics used by manipulative individuals is the illusion of change. Sensing that they may be losing you, they suddenly begin to show signs of growth or transformation. They may promise to change their behavior, to be more understanding, or to finally take responsibility. But these promises are rarely genuine. Rather, they are a last-ditch effort to regain control. Imagine someone who, after a period of conflict, suddenly becomes attentive, caring, and apologetic. They assure you that they have seen the light and are committed to improving. At first, this display of change may seem heartfelt, but as time passes, their old behaviors resurface, revealing that their transformation was only temporary. In Stoic philosophy, true change is an internal process, one that requires consistent effort and a deep commitment to personal growth. Epictetus teaches us to judge character not by words but by actions over time. When faced with the illusion of change, we must observe with patience, understanding that true transformation is rare and often gradual. By remaining grounded in our observations, we can distinguish between genuine growth and mere pretense, protecting ourselves from being drawn back into a cycle of manipulation. Sign 13. Sudden acts of desperation. When all other tactics have failed, manipulative individuals may resort to sudden acts of desperation. These actions are often dramatic, designed to provoke an emotional response and re-establish a connection. They might make grand gestures, such as showing up unannounced or creating a crisis that requires your attention. These acts are not genuine expressions of need, but rather attempts to regain your sympathy. Consider a friend who, after months of silence, calls you late at night, claiming an urgent need for support. This sudden reach-out is intended to evoke empathy, to rekindle the bond that had begun to fade. But once the immediate crisis has passed, they disappear again, leaving you once more in a state of In Stoicism, we are taught to control our responses, to avoid being swayed by the emotional manipulations of others. When faced with acts of desperation, we must remain calm, recognizing that these displays are not our responsibility to manage. By maintaining a sense of detachment, we prevent ourselves from being drawn back into their cycle of influence. This resilience allows us to offer genuine help without losing ourselves in the drama, to assist without becoming entangled in their web of manipulation. The road to healing, letting go of toxic influence. As we identify and navigate these signs of manipulation, a path toward healing begins to emerge. The journey of letting go is not an easy one, as it often requires us to confront our deepest fears and insecurities. We may question our own judgments, feel a sense of loss, or worry about what the future holds without the familiar, if toxic, presence of these individuals in our lives. Stoicism provides a roadmap for this process, encouraging us to look inward, to build resilience, and to cultivate self-awareness. By releasing our attachment to those who have harmed us, we free ourselves from the weight of their influence, reclaiming our autonomy and sense of self. Embracing inner peace and freedom. In letting go of toxic relationships, we create space for something invaluable: inner peace. This peace is not merely the absence of conflict, but a profound sense of freedom, a life unburdened by the manipulations and expectations of others. We discover that we are complete in ourselves, that our worth is not contingent on the approval or validation of those around us. Epictetus reminds us, "No person is free who is not master of himself." In choosing to release toxic influences, we become the masters of our own lives, the architects of our own happiness. This freedom is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, a testament to the strength that comes from self-determination and inner clarity. As we let go, we step into a life of autonomy, a life shaped by our own values and beliefs, unshaken by the judgments or manipulations of others. Building a resilient self. The journey of healing is also a journey of self-discovery, an opportunity to cultivate resilience and self-confidence. By facing the challenges of manipulation with courage and wisdom, we emerge stronger, more self-assured, and better equipped to navigate future relationships with clarity and integrity. In Stoic philosophy, resilience is the product of practice and persistence. Marcus Aurelius encourages us to see every obstacle as an opportunity for growth, to use each challenge as a means of fortifying our character. As we let go of toxic individuals, we also let go of the fears and insecurities that once held us back, embracing a life of purpose and conviction. Cultivating authentic connections. With the departure of manipulative individuals comes the opportunity to cultivate authentic connections, relationships built on trust, respect, and mutual support. These are the bonds that enrich our lives, the friendships and partnerships that inspire us to grow and evolve. In choosing to surround ourselves with genuine people, we create a network of support that reinforces our own values and strengthens our sense of self. Seneca wrote, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." In seeking out positive influences, we align ourselves with individuals who uplift us, who encourage us to be our best selves. This shift in focus allows us to experience relationships that are free from manipulation, connections that nurture rather than drain. By prioritizing authenticity, we create a life that is rich in meaningful connections, a life that reflects the principles of Stoic philosophy in every interaction. The legacy of wisdom, passing on the teachings of Stoicism. As we complete this journey of recognizing and overcoming manipulation, we carry with us the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. This wisdom is a gift, a legacy that we can pass on to others who may be struggling with similar challenges. By sharing our experiences, we offer guidance and support, helping others to navigate the complexities of human relationships with clarity and resilience. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, waste no more time arguing what a good person should be. Be one. By embodying the virtues of Stoic philosophy, we become living examples of strength, compassion, and integrity. Our actions inspire others to seek truth, to cultivate wisdom, and to pursue lives of inner peace. In choosing the path of Stoicism, we join a lineage of thinkers and seekers, individuals who have faced adversity with courage and grace. This legacy is our own, a testament to the power of wisdom and the enduring strength of the human spirit. A final reflection: the journey of self-discovery. The journey of recognizing and overcoming toxic influences is, at its core, a journey of self-discovery. It is an invitation to delve into the depths of our own character, to uncover the strength, resilience, and wisdom that reside within us. Through the trials of manipulation and deceit, we come to know ourselves more deeply, to trust in our own perceptions, and to stand firm in our convictions. This journey is not without its challenges, but with each step, we grow stronger, more confident, and more at peace. We learn to value our own insights, to honor our own boundaries, and to live with a sense of purpose that is unshaken by the actions of others. In the end, the greatest gift of Stoicism is the realization that we are enough, that we possess within ourselves the power to live a life of integrity and joy. This realization is the foundation of true freedom, the freedom to live authentically, to love openly, and to face each day with courage and gratitude. As you continue on your own path, may you carry with you the teachings of Stoicism, the strength of your own convictions, and the knowledge that you are capable of navigating any challenge with grace and wisdom. Remember, you are not defined by the actions of others, but by the choices you make in response to them. This is your power, your peace, and your legacy. Thank you for joining me on this journey of exploration and reflection. I hope that the insights shared here have brought you clarity and encouragement, and that you find the courage to let go of what no longer serves you. May your path be filled with wisdom, resilience, and the quiet strength that Stoic philosophy inspires. If you found this journey helpful, please consider sharing your thoughts in the comments below, and don't hesitate to reach out to others who may benefit from these teachings. And remember, the journey of self-discovery is a lifelong pursuit, one that is as rewarding as it is challenging.